Friday, some of the biggest questions in the history of Drake and Josh will finally be answered.
I've noticed that in the season 4 episodes, there's specifically 5 out of the 20 episodes that are almost exactly the same. And I'm not talking like premises or simple, I'm talking like beat by beat, character by character, almost repeated over and over again throughout 5 episodes in the 4th season. So today we're going to peel back the curtain, and I'm going to show you guys something I found that most fans wouldn't notice. What's up everybody, it's Johnny2000, and today I've got a special video for you. So let's be real here, Drake and Josh, classic. It's memeable, quotable, and honestly, like, everybody's still watching it till this day. I've had a lot of fun writing videos about this show that express how funny and edgy the comedy is. But what if I said it's overhyped? Yeah, see, this is a little controversial, but as I'm doing the season 4 retrospective, I've had a lot of eye-opening experiences with these newer episodes. And I think the show isn't as impressive as we all remember it to be. I'm continuously reminded that season 4 is mostly everybody's favorite. And you know what? I'm not sure if I agree with that opinion. It's hard to agree when you figure out all the facts I just found out. So today the episodes I'm gonna cover are Vicious Tiberius.
On the way here, you ate a peanut off of the car floor.
It was honey roasted.
The Storm.
No, I did not predict rain.
Treehouse.
Would you watch the hand?
The Wedding.
And if we're not there in 48 minutes, there's no way we're gonna get that beach house.
All right.
And Helicopter.
Copper 9065.
9065, that's us!
Yes, grab the mic, dude.
Hello, Control Tower, this is Copper 9065, help!
Does anything come to mind when I say those titles? Like, what about them makes it so similar to one another? Did you pick up on it? So these are all bottle episodes that take place in pretty much a similar location. We start with Act 1 introducing the problem, and then the boys get into a situation and are trapped there for the entire episode. You may remember these from like the Treehouse meme or the Storm episode. So these episodes all have the 5 things in common. There's the setup where Drake and Josh get like a simple task or responsibility. The trap where something goes wrong and they get stuck in one specific location. The escalation where things get noticeably worse. Number 4, the unhelpful inclusion of another character or situation to escalate the issue. And the twist ending, which these all end in failure for Drake and Josh. It's just funny because it's like, of course Nickelodeon found the perfect formula to make it work. Like, the Treehouse episode was one of the funniest episodes to date. Like, we still meme it all the time. So is it a surprise that 4 other episodes are exactly like it? So first we have Vicious Tiberius. The setup for this is Josh volunteers to house sit for Mrs. Hafer, and Drake tags along. They get trapped inside by her guard dog, Tiberius, and they hide in the bathroom for most of the episode. It's really funny, Drake is pretty unhelpful, and it's obvious how much he doesn't know, and Josh is the one trying to find the resolution to the scenario. Things get worse and worse as time goes on, like their phones get destroyed, Tiberius eats the other phone, and we have a guest star animal wrangler come in who ends up making the situation worse and gets frightened away. We get the unhelpful moment where Megan comes in to help, but ends up leaving them in the dust. And in the end, they're able to escape, but the trauma is real. Then we have the Storm. A storm cancels this concert that Drake's about to have and strands all the guests in their home. They spend the whole episode there, so once Drake and Josh are stuck someplace with Drake not taking the situation super seriously and Josh trying to be practical, we get kind of the same formula. This one's a lot more deviated from the 5 structure I'm talking about because Josh isn't in this episode so much, but it all kind of stands the same, and the episode has that twist where things don't get better by the end. Tension rises when the power goes out, we have unnecessary guest stars that make things worse, and it's just the recipe for exactly what Drake and Josh is. Single location, all at the house this time. That one didn't seem super interesting, but the next one is Treehouse. So this is the one where Drake and Josh rebuild their neighbor's treehouse that they accidentally burned down. Once they finish, they realize they forgot to make a door. It kind of reminds me of the exact bathroom scenario. Drake is acting nuts and all the things that are obvious are not obvious to him, and then Josh is the only one trying to really get out. We have Megan come back for another time where she is not helpful and if anything makes the situation worse again. And Drake and Josh are just trying to get to their dates, but they're stuck in this place. So usually the reason they're stuck or the goal they're trying to achieve is different every time, but they're still stuck in the same place for the whole episode. And then of course the twist ending is that the whole thing just collapses. They don't actually make it to their dates. It's just them wallowing in their own self-pity. Then, of course, the wedding. This is the one where Drake and Josh are trying to deliver the cake to their great aunt's wedding. The car ends up breaking down and they get stuck on the side of the road. And surprise, surprise, they're at the side of the road the entire episode. And of course, Drake is not helping. He's making the situation a little bit worse at every turn, and then Josh is trying to keep the peace. It's like the show is just a constant recycle. They end up even getting robbed, which kind of reminds me of when they lose their phones, or they don't remember to bring the power saw into the treehouse, or the storm is so much worse than it ever was before. Things out of Drake and Josh's control that can keep them in the environment. Just like the animal wrangler, there's a truck driver, Leslie, who comes in and you think he's going to be helpful, but he ends up just leaving anyway. And this time it's because of Drake's incompetence, which is kind of funny, but I still feel like it's a weird coincidence that they always have a guest star come in and then get scared off to show that Drake and Josh are the only ones that could solve the situation. I love that in terms of storytelling because it's really fun to watch the characters constantly get berated with inconveniences, but it's just uncanny that like none of these episodes change that much. In the end, we never see anything change. Drake and Josh are just at the side of the road and the car sets on fire, and that's how it ends. Just like the treehouse falling, just like them staying in the storm, and then I guess they got out in the Tiberius episode, fine. Then, of course, we have helicopter. Where are they this whole episode? I wonder. So Drake wins that helicopter ride, and Josh is like, no, we shouldn't do this. They end up getting into the helicopter and not being able to get out. Why? Because they accidentally knocked the pilot unconscious. Which is cool, because the guest star's coming in a little bit earlier now and leaves a little earlier. But then he does come back again, and then faints again. So I guess he still is that unhelpful help. Of course, things get worse. The same way they lost their cell phones, now they lose their parachutes. Josh is yelling at Drake, trying to get him to stop being a simpleton, and Drake just continuously makes it worse. Josh also makes some mistakes in this one, which is kind of interesting, but for the most part, it ends the same. They end up coming out alive, unlike all the other episodes, but this time they have a $400,000 fine, and that is a ridiculous amount. Like, you have to solve that somehow. The helicopter was the most extreme version of the formula, the one that most gave me anxiety because I am scared of heights, and that was a life or death situation, unlike the treehouse or the storm or anything else. But it was cool. So yeah, if you watch all these episodes back to back like I just had to do, you realize how similar the formats are. The wedding, the helicopter, it's all one place, a bottle episode with Drake and Josh being their usual wacky selves. A lot less scenes than we're used to, but the same hijinks occur. But like, why would you ever change something like this? Like, Nickelodeon found exactly what worked for Drake and Josh, and they just managed to repeat it perfectly. They found just enough stuff to change to make it unique, but keep the show going. And they didn't really do this in other seasons. There was not a lot of bottle episodes. Like, it's weird to think that almost 25% of the season was a single location episode. Of course it wasn't an accident, that was the plan. It's not like the writers just hit copy and paste and just changed the nouns. But it is funny to look back on and realize when you like Drake and Josh so much. Like, these patterns cannot be unrealized. And the fact that this is the most beloved season out of all of them just makes me think that people just really like predictable, structured TV. And that's exactly what sitcoms are perfect for. They're always beat by beat. This happens here, this happens here, this happens here. And I like how they do it so well and mix it up enough. It's what works. They found the perfect thing. People were not watching Drake and Josh for story arcs or emotional growth. Like, this is exactly what they wanted to do with the series to begin with, and they set out to do it. As long as they hit the beats, it was another hit. Which in retrospect makes a lot of sense, especially feeling like this show is so much longer than it is. It's only 60 episodes, but the fact that people feel like it lasted so much longer is because it's like, of course they could have just did the same exact thing over and over and over again, and we just don't remember it. So by the time you're watching season 4, I just don't want you to expect anything really deep or impactful. Drake and Josh wasn't built to tell stories, it was built to be a repeat machine. Hit the reset button every time, and there you go. If you really want to see how deep this formula runs in Drake and Josh, don't just look at Drake or Josh. Like, you could look at the people around them too. It's not just a story structure that repeats, it's the characters, the gags, and the very roles people play in the narrative. Once you start noticing it, it's like impossible to see. Like Megan, for example. She's not just a little sister, she's a device. Somebody that comes in every episode to purposely make the situation worse. So when we say Drake and Josh leaned on a formula, we're not just talking about structure, we're talking about characters, plot, and almost comedy bits. This wasn't a show about how people change, they were just here to support this system. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys don't hate me for pointing this out about Drake and Josh. I love the show, I just really needed to point out these patterns because they are indefensible. And until next time, just get ready for my next retrospective on Drake and Josh, and please feel free to subscribe, watch my other videos. It all helps a lot. Thank you guys so much for watching, and for more 2000s content, you can check out me, Johnny2000. Have a great day.